The 18th of March 2024. I just want to finish one on number 3. Now look at it here. Hate speech 3. See 3 here on that, folks. And just go on a wee bit here just to show you that this is all very bad law. An offence of condonation, where you condone or denial or gross trivialisation of genocide against persons on account of their protected characteristics. So that's ethnic background. That would be a German. So it would, yeah. Subject to section 2, a person shall be guilty of an offence under this section if that person communicates material to the public or a section of the public, right? Behaves in a public place or manner that condones or denies or grossly trivializes. So, or grossly trivializes. So I'm dealing here now with section 8. So behaves in a manner behaves in a public place, in a public place. So now, if you look at this here, they're now saying that what can be said in your own house is not encompassed in the bill. So it's out on the street and everything like that. So that condones, denies, or grossly trivializes genocide. Now, who decides what is genocide? Who decides what is genocide? Didn't the Europeans go into the United States and Canada commit genocide against the native population? A crime against humanity, what is that? What is that? Is murder not a crime against humanity? A war crime, or an act of specific Article 6 in the International Military Tribunal. The International Military Tribunal. Well, now, where does that leave us with what they call the Holocaust, where the Germans got executed or destroyed or killed 6 million Jews, and the Jews are now after killing at least 26,000 Palestinians. Huh? This law is not good law. This is not good law. You should be entitled to say what you like. It's up to people to come out and debate it. Where such communication or material of behaviour is directed against a person or group of persons on account of their protected characteristics or any of those characteristics, and is done with the intent to incite violence or hatred against such a person or such group of persons on account of these characteristics or any of these characteristics. So yeah, well, if it's done with the intent, well, how can you do it without the intent, the thing? I mean, what if I say, right, what if I say, well, the Palestinians are entitled to rise up against the Israelis? What if I say that Hezbollah are entitled to attack the Israelis? I mean, what's hatred? What do you expect if people are being brutalized no matter what? I don't believe it's right for any country to get involved in people's private thoughts on any subject. It's up to them to prove their case by means of good, open debate. A person guilty of an offence shall be liable to imprisonment and a fine of 12 months. Okay? So, right, folks, you see that now again. The thing is, this is way over the top. Now, just read your section 9. A person may be found guilty of an offence under section 7 or 8, irrespective of whether the communication of the material or behaviour, the subject of the offence, was successful in inciting another person to violence or hatred against that group of persons on account of their protected characteristics. So it doesn't matter whether it's successful or not, right? So what if you come out from Mass of a Sunday and you're met by a couple of people giving you abuse? How are you going in there for that codology? I think we already had an offence of disrupting an economical service, a religious service. That's all right. Folks, I believe if you look around you, you look at everything to do with religion and going to mass and funerals and going to church and everything, there's very little evidence of anyone doing anything to upset people. There was an attack down in Armagh, was it Dartry or down in Armagh, one of them, where IRA dissidents went in and shot people at church way back about 1982 or 3. Went in and blew them out of it. Dominic McClinchy, I think, was blamed for it. But the thing about it is that it doesn't matter who it was. Like, that is an attack, and that is murder. So it's doubtful about this. But the thing about it is, we already have laws to cover most of this. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because whether we like it or not, it's probably going to come in. So the offence of preparing or possessing material likely to incite it. So if you prepare it, they can come and search your house. So if you're doing articles of that and you're preparing a broadcast, they can come in and search the house. Well, they can search me anytime they like. My sources of information is books and published books and that. Now it tries here now to protect freedom of expression. So how can they protect freedom of expression? For the purpose of this part, any material or behaviour that has not taken to incite violence or hatred against a person or a group of persons on account of their protected characteristics or any of those characteristics solely on the basis of that material or behaviour includes or involves discussion or criticisms of any matter relating to a protected characteristics. So I'll read that for you again now. What does this mean? Protection of freedom of expression. For the purposes of this part, any material or behaviour is not taken to incite violence or hatred. It's not taken against a person or group of persons on account of their protected characteristics or on those characteristics likely on the basis of that material or behaviour includes or involves discussion or criticism of matters relating to a protected characteristics. So this is an attempt to allow you to have a discussion in a meeting or something else. Why is it needed? I just don't get it. What they understand here is that there's a provision in the Constitution that protects free speech, and they're afraid we'll attack this on that. I'll read that section again, section 11. For the purposes of this part, any material or behaviour is not taken to incite violence or hatred against a person or group of persons on account of their protected characteristics or any of those characteristics solely on the basis that that material or behaviour includes or involves discussion of or criticism of matters relating to protected characteristics. So how do you enforce that? Is a protest. Excuse me. Is it a protest? So it's an attempt to roll back. So how can you on one hand say it's a crime to shout, "Go home, you dirty this, that and that," big fuzzy wuzzy or whoever you are, and then say, "Oh no, well if it's done for discussion and all that." Where do you draw the line? It's not hard for me to draw the line because I'd be able to defend myself. Again, maybe I hate making promises. I would like to wait till this comes in and break the law and send a copy of it to the Gardaí and be prosecuted for it and make a bit of a show of them. I have no doubt when they start jailing people for this, you're going to see a huge public outcry. But don't forget, in relation to all this woke stuff, and this is all part of the woke agenda, we have Enoch Burke, a school teacher who never did anything, only tried to teach his children the best he could, in jail for a long time. Don't forget that. So they'll probably bring it in. I don't know, will they? Where's the Fianna Fáil TDs to back out and say we won't support it? Where are they? Well, I know that the Greens have said we'll pull the plug in government if we don't get this. But what you can do as well is vow now, and I'll be giving you advice how to do it, to go into the constituencies of the Greens and go door to door negatively campaigning against them. And I know the law on it fairly well. They won't have time to get a new electoral act in to do it, and it worked very well. So that's something that we can try to do. We want our freedom. Our Constitution gives us freedom. And you see, they can bring in this, and we don't need an amendment because the Constitution says in accordance with law. But in the case of the marriage referendum and the family referendum, it wrote it so explicitly that you couldn't bring in laws to take it away. It's specific in the Constitution. And in a way, this article is there as well. And the lockdowns were illegal in the Constitution, but the judges have a wee bit of leeway. The right thing too is that President Higgins should refer this to the court. That's something, if you want to do, write to him and tell him to refer the hate speech bill to the Council of State and to the Supreme Court to see is it legal. Government probably has a certain degree of power to protect the citizen, nearly no matter what the Constitution says. Nearly no matter what the Constitution says. And that came up in the case of, God be good to the poor thing, Mary Duffy, who was killed by 2 English criminals. And the guards caught one of them, or 2 of them, I don't know which, caught one of them anyway, and they held him in custody with no power. There was no power for the Gardaí to hold a murderer in custody. And there was no power. and they kept him there, but they said that they were hoping that he'd tell them where Mary Duffy was, and the court ruled that the right of Mary Duffy to her life, that she could be tied up somewhere and maybe her life in danger, was above that of the criminal involved or the person that's involved. So that's an example where the judge ruled against the constitutional right to freedom because another person's right was balanced. Not a bad judgment, but again brought about by the total failure of government to legislate to give the Gardaí power to arrest suspected murderers. So that's it, folks. Now that's the hate speech thing. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I'm keeping this one short. It's not wise law, not wise law. It's all to allow them to get through or what they're out, to destroy the family, to introduce a whole different opinion of male, females, and to homosexualize the entire country, and to fill it full of migrants, as Eamon Ryan of the Green Party has said. He wants 5 million migrants into the island of Ireland in 2016. It's on the record of the Dáil. So folks, that'll do. I can't do any more. We are kind of half powerless, so we'll let you go with that, okay? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and comment on the link.